Hey guys, welcome to our live
Hello,
stream.
welcome. We're so excited to have you.
Welcome guys to our Be Fruitful series. We are so excited to have you on board with us. As you join us, we want to encourage you to spread the love to your platform. Spread the love.
Spread the love like butter.
Let people know that we are live and we want to share.
Hello, Aisha.
Hey.
Am I saying it right?
I'm so happy that we are standing with you to be your mentors.
Yes, hi
your
Karen.
Accountability partners. So we look forward to that.
Welcome Danielle.
Hey,
so happy
Daniel,
to see
welcome,
you.
welcome Karen. So guys, come in, spread the love. Let people know that we are, yes,
Nice.
we are in this process with you to ensure that you have what is called a fruitful season. So we are doing our Be Fruitful season.
And Lynette, she's ready for a fruitful season.
Woo! Yes, Lynette, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. We want to ensure that you all are with us as we share free content with you as you are on this process of writing your book, getting your story out, having clarity. What's your next business step? What's your next step? Is your next step your right step? As my wife always tells me, ensure that your
next move is your best move.
Is your best move. Francesca, welcome, Francesca.
Welcome, Francesca.
Hey, Marquise Blades. It's been a while, girl.
Yes, Marquita, it's been a long time. So we're
nice
happy
to
to have you. And Aisha, she already knows it's gonna be juicy. She's like, yum. Yes, you are in for a treat.
So we definitely want to just celebrate everyone as you come in. We are doing our Be Fruitful season. The first is a 7-part series that we do. We may even do a bonus series for you. And we went through different aspects of Be Fruitful. And we said, number one, in order to be fruitful, you must take action.
Yes.
Taking action is the greatest antidote to despair.
So whenever you feel yourself and you're feeling down and out, listen, get in action. Just one small step every single day will get you where you want to be.
Definitely. And the second lesson we talked about was what?
The second lesson in the take action?
No, next point.
Oh, the very next series. Okay, because I'm about to say that's a lot of content. Was about personal. Have courage.
Have courage.
Have courage.
In order for you to achieve your dreams, you must have courage.
Yeah.
And that's very, very important. You know that in order for you to take that next bold step, you gotta do it with knees shaking, teeth shattering, in the midst of no money, in the midst of people saying you can't do it, in the midst of I don't know if I could do it. It's important to take courage. The next step we talked about, see the promise in the problem.
Yes.
That was very, very key. Every writer, every business owner, every person who shifts the dimensions in communities, they see opportunities in the midst of problems. All right, Francesca? Hey. So it's very, very important for you to see that there is a promise in the midst of your problem.
Absolutely.
And then the next lesson we did was
the power of ideas.
The power of ideas.
That was day 4.
Therefore, so as you craft your message, as you craft your story, you may see it as something unseen, insignificant, or it's just a thought. Monica, welcome, Monica.
Hello.
But the power of ideas, it is radical. We looked at Mickey Mouse, where he started off with just an idea, and that idea turned into a multi-billion-dollar business,
yes.
an empire for production, and the type of creativity that started off with just him having an interaction with a mouse. So you may have, what's your mouse? Your mouse might be something you might think is insignificant. Our coach Lisa always talks about it. Your unconscious competence, a part of you that is just so natural. Tracy, welcome, Tracy. A part of you that is effortless, and you don't even think it could be monetized. But I want you to know what you think is effortless for you, what you think is insignificant for you, whatever you think you're going through that's an annoyance for you, it is a possibility for a powerful idea. When its time has come, it's your opportunity to dive in. And then we did our next lesson number 5.
Yesterday.
Which was hosted by this lovely host.
Well, thank you. We talked about, and Aisha, you were there, we spoke about reputation, how reputation beats conversation any day. And so the first point was how you do anything is how you do everything.
Right.
And it's important to understand that every single day you are developing habits, and your habits become a lifestyle. So that was the first point in yesterday's series. So I want you to go back and take a look. We also talk about the importance of being significant and striving for significance rather than being successful. There is a huge difference between the two, because when you serve from a place of significance, you'll inevitably be successful.
That's right. So don't start off writing your next best story, your next international bestseller as I want to make a lot of money, because I'll tell you something, money is a fleeting motivation, because you're gonna have things that are gonna come up in your life, sickness, death, loss of job, just sometimes emotions where I just feel discouraged. There are times where your family life is just so busy. So I want to encourage you that if you have to engage in anything that will, what we will say, either bring benefit, the best part is to start off with discovering your why, because when you bring value to the marketplace, when you bring authentic value to the marketplace, naturally and automatically, there will be a value exchange, because people will be like, I like that. How much is that? And you'll be like, oh, I could put a price tag to this. I didn't even know that.
So
and that was
true.
our personal story, as publishers. I just want to pause a little bit for some of you who are coming on for the first time for this live stream.
Yes.
Many of you may know us as coaches. Some of you will know us as international best selling authors and speakers. But when it comes to publishing, this has been a journey of discovery for us. Now, personally, my profession, I am a management consultant, been the youngest leadership consultant with the Franklin Covey Institute. Any of you who know anything about leadership, the Franklin Covey Institute is the premier of all leadership companies. They are the ones that execute the projects for the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People and the entire series of Stephen Covey. And just having that business aspect, that leadership aspect, is one of my core competencies. Shanta, you want to tell them about it?
Well, no, I think Imwale, he's being pretty modest, right? Because this young man, he served in one of the highest offices in the country, which was being a protocol officer for the Prime Minister. So those of you who are American, you probably don't know just how significant that is, but that's like the equivalent of the President of the United States, okay? So it was a pretty big deal. And from there, he's been able to live a legacy, come on now.
That's right.
Live a legacy of excellence, live a legacy of entrepreneurship that has allowed us to take just an idea and grow it into a significant business that's blessed dozens, hundreds of lives as a result.
This lady here, she is the entrepreneurial beast of the
Oh my,
century.
that's a lot.
Because when she went to Clark Atlanta University, went to American University, masters. She's taught as a college professor in Clark Atlanta, traveled the world, worked for the Ubuntu Institute in South Africa, an associate institute with the Nelson Mandela Foundation. She was a communications director there. But that's not all. What is very powerful about her story is that, apart from owning her own PR firm and managing accounts of NFL players, she was morbidly afraid of working for someone.
Seriously, when he says morbidly, he's not even exaggerating. I felt like if I had gone to corporate America, that I would die. I felt like I probably shouldn't do this, because that's pretty scary.
So because of that, one of the key things we discovered, because we're talking about how we discovered our why, right? And sometimes there's an unconscious competence inside of you that would produce such value that people see it.
Yes.
And we started off publishing for one main reason. We started just sharing our story with other people. We used to go to conferences, crafting our message for the mere focus of how do we do proper messaging for top clients like NFL players? How do we craft top messages for leadership managers and CEOs and government leaders? Talking points. How do they sell projects, billion-dollar projects, to roll them out throughout the Caribbean and Latin America? So we both did that in different industries and different lanes. And then we wanted to really brand ourselves as consultants. So we spent thousands and thousands of dollars traveling to so many different conferences, and just to get that core competence. And we decided to write our own book from that experience. And when we wrote our book, my wife, she wrote hers in 30 days. It became an international bestseller. And then many of her friends keep asking, how did you do this? How did you do this? How did you do that?
Aja says dope, D-O-P-E. Okay, thank you.
And we just kept sharing that information, Monica, with people. Hey, this is what you do. This is how you discover your why. And we were just going through a process. We didn't even know we were midwifing and helping people pull this out. And people just kept asking him, Molly, help me write my book. Chantal, help me write my book. And we would just keep telling people, they go their ways. We continue working with clients. We continue traveling, doing international engagement. But then so many people keep asking that we say, hey, we don't have the time. Let's sit down. And we did a digital course, a 10 lesson. And we say, when people come, we just send them the link. If you have any questions, just ask us. That was it. It was not a business. It was for us just sharing value with people. And then here's what happened, Aja. Here's what happened, Monica. Then they began to say, hey, I need you. When they were like probably in their fourth lesson, then they started to ask, hey, I just need you to coach me through this. I did this step. I'm here in this chapter. What's next? And we just started to coach them. And while coaching them, we say, hey, I need this. I need you to pull this out for. And I said, well, we don't do this. It's not something that we offer as a service. And people kept saying, you should offer it. We need your support. We need someone who could just pull this message out.
Yeah.
And it moved from just adding value without, a business strategy to, hey, we will pay you for this. It is valuable. It is bringing clarity to my message. It's bringing clarity to my mission.
Yes.
It is adding to my bottom line as a manager, as a CEO.
And they raised their hand and said, I need you. They literally said, listen, I'll pay you. Someone told me they would pay us $3,000 for us to actually walk them through the process to help them. They're like, whatever, if that's not enough, then there's more. Like, I don't mind paying, because they realize the value of the service.
Definitely. So there may be things that you are offering. You may be the person people always call you for advice. You may be the person that people always lean on you for support. That very natural core competence, unconscious competence, can be monetized. And more importantly, it will be monetized from the place of your brilliance.
Yes.
That's even better. Think about that. Being able to monetize something from the place of your brilliance, rather than saying, I want to sell this, I want to make. No. If you function in the place of your brilliance, you are going to do one, you are going to work with grace and ease. And number two, you're going to attract your ideal clients, people who you know that you're called to serve. They are going to come to you. They are going to discover you. So that was our journey of just supporting people in crafting their dreams, supporting people in pulling out their stories, supporting people in being their midwives. And then it moved from being your midwives to being your surrogate mothers, where there are people like, hey, I know I want this baby. I know that I have a story and a message, but I don't want to carry this baby. I'm so busy. My life is so hectic. So we became the surrogate mothers, where we would just take that message, take that seed, nurture that seed, craft that story, write that message in their unique voice, in their unique tone, in their unique vision, and birth that message for them and hand that over, and they just hold that baby and say, "Ooh, I'm a international best-selling author."
But what's great about it, Molly, is that they didn't stop there with just enjoying their story, enjoying their success. They actually went around and told other people about it, right? So all of a sudden, we went from just giving people the information to actually shaping and forming a business based on people wanting to learn more.
Yes.
And that's the beauty about yesterday's conversation about reputation beats conversation any day.
Come on now.
Walt Disney said it best. He said, whatever you do, do it well. Do it so well that when people see you do it well, that they will want to come back and see you do it again.
Woo!
And they will want to bring other people and show them how well you do what you do.
Say that again, Shonda. That is powerful. That is so, so, so powerful. Whatever you do, do it well. Do it so well that when people see you do it, they will want to come back and see you do it again. And they will want to bring others and show them how well you do what you do.
Reputation beats conversation any day.
So start with service, start with serving, start with serving, start with giving, start with giving. Don't start with the big dollar sign, because I'll tell you something, if you start there, you will work from a place of frustration and scarcity
Yes.
and anxiety
You'll
and
be what?
fear, and you'll be like, I'm not hitting my numbers. But if you start from serve, serve, serve,
That's
I want
right.
to see people have breakthroughs, breakthroughs, breakthroughs. Clarity, clarity, clarity. Because clarity is king. That's why when people book coaching calls with us, we call it clarity calls.
Yes.
Because when people have clarity, I'll tell you something, a person who has clarity is a dangerous person. A person who has
Come on,
clarity
Aisha.
is an unstoppable
Come on,
person.
Tracy.
A person who has clarity is a person who is committed to commitment.
Come on.
Ooh, it's one thing to be committed, but
Committed
if you're
to
committed to
Wow.
commitment,
I like
because
that.
clarity.
Write that down.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to put by Coach Chantal. He's my husband, so I can steal all his quotes.
All right, so let's go right into today's value content that we want to share with you as you are on this process of being fruitful, as you make that commitment to yourself that I want to be fruitful. I want to see fruitfulness in my life. I want to live in that abundance
Yes.
and allow generations to come and stay under that shade. I want to be in such a place where that I make such an impact. I move from just being successful to being significant,
Yes.
where I am bringing such solution to the marketplace and to the space that I know I'm called to serve. So the first area we want to talk about in this series I'm going to tee off to you.
Yes.
As we are sharing, this is our part 6, where we are saying your dreams can only grow if you do.
Yes.
Your
dreams can only grow
Mm-hmm.
when you grow.
Hmm.
Think about it. If you look at nature is a perfect example about growth. Only your garden, for example, it will only grow when you begin to water it.
Mm-hmm.
Similarly, Vero, your dreams and your goals will only grow when you begin to do some things, just some things.
Mm-hmm.
In effort to see them manifest, in effort to see, that business grow. You're going to have to make some phone calls. In an effort to see your speaking business jump off, you're going to have to start speaking, right? So things will only grow when you grow. And so our first point is that discipline is not an event, Tracy. It's a lifestyle. Discipline is not an event, it's a lifestyle. It has to be ingrained in you. It has to be a habitual thing that you do every single day in order for it to become a part of you, in order for it to grow you. And when it grows you, so too will your lifestyle, so too will your dreams.
Definitely. I remember serving in the military. It was something that I believe I got that heart of discipline from my father. I remember as a child, simple things that were always part of our culture. You gotta go to school tomorrow. You'll be ironing your clothes Sunday night. You'll be packing your bags. You'll be checking to see if you did your homework. And he was just a person who always say, discipline is important. If you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. He was always a person who say, stick to your commitments. He was always a person who said, check once, check twice, check it a third time to always be sure. So that was something that was ingrained in me, and it was not always pleasurable.
No.
All right. No one here loves to feel like if you're in a military camp. And my father had no military background, mind you.
I don't know, maybe Ronette, maybe she's more disciplined.
Yeah.
Maybe she enjoys it. I don't know. Let us know.
But he was just this person who just believed that success didn't happen by accident. He just believed that, success was not something you just stumble upon. He didn't believe that success was something that it's just handed to you. He always believed that success was something that was an intentional process. An intentional process that was consistently applied. An intentional process that was consistently applied. He worked in the oil industry, and working as a lab technician he worked in the oil industry, and I always saw him. He used to get up early in the morning. If he's not feeling well or he's feeling well, he puts his clothes on, He goes out there, he comes back, and he was a shift worker, so he worked, 2 days in the morning, 2 days in the evening, and 2 days in the night, and then you have one day off. And he did that consistently. Someone whose, internal body, their internal clock always had to be shifting to the vagaries of the day, but he was just consistent. And I want you to know that if you have to experience success in your life, if you have to experience any type of new level, if you have to see some sense of your dreams coming alive, you have to grow in the area of your discipline.
Wow.
You have to grow in the area of your discipline, because discipline is not an event, it's a lifetime. It's a lifestyle.
Yes.
Some of us, we're disciplined. Oh, speaking right. Oh, we're jumping, we're singing. Celebrate good times. Come on. And then we go home. We sleeping,
We shove those business cards in the desk way in the back.
How many of you have followed up on your business cards? How many of you have ever gone to a conference where there is an intentional process of networking? And many of you may have missed your next business client. Many of you may have missed your next JV partner, your next prayer warrior, your next best friend, your next confidant. Because why? A lack of discipline.
Wow.
So I encourage you, that discipline is part of the growth process. Discipline is essential to the growth of your dreams. Discipline is essential to your next best level, and it's something that is non-negotiable.
Yes, absolutely. I love the quote by Muhammad Ali, where he says, Muhammad Ali, for those of you who may be young, because like this next generation, they don't really know who he is. But he was one of the greatest boxers of all times. And he said that he hated every minute of training, every single minute of training. But he told himself, don't quit. Because he would suffer now, much rather suffer now than to quit, so that he could live the rest of his life as a champion. Wow. He hated every single minute of training, but told himself, don't quit. I'll suffer now and live the rest of my life as a champion.
Wow.
What do you think about that? I want you to go ahead and share with us, what are your thoughts about that?
What are you willing to suffer?
What? Brilliant question.
What are you willing to suffer? What are you willing to give up? What are you willing to risk it all to gain it all? What are you willing to let go? What are you willing to break away from? What are you willing to walk away from?
Yes.
What are you willing to disrupt in your life?
Come on.
I want you to write on it. What are you willing? Is it ice cream? Is it less 10 minutes less of sleep? Is it getting up 1 hour early? What are you willing to risk?
Absolutely. Steve Harvey had a lot of people upset a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
Because he told America that we shouldn't be getting 8 hours of sleep. So people made all types of Facebook posts and memes criticizing Steve Harvey. But, the Bible says that sleep, you shouldn't love it. There's one of my...
he who loves sleeps, poverty will overtake him.
Absolutely.
Proverbs says that.
One of my favorite proverbs, it says, a little sleep, a little slumber, and so too will your poverty come upon you like a thief.
Come on.
And your need like an armed man.
An armed robber. Woo!
Your need will come.
Unexpected. You want to know where this scarcity came from.
When did I get this bill?
When did this breakdown come from? It's the hours of sleep.
Yeah.
Things that you could have done to prepare yourself. It creeps up on you. So we have here, I'm willing to let go. Come on, girl. I'm willing to let go of sleep. What are you willing to let go of, Francesca? What are you willing to let go of, Monica? What are you? Yes. When we know what is essential, when we know what is stopping us, then we will know how to move forward.
That's right.
So keep let the comments keep flowing.
Yes,
what
Sean
I'm willing
LeRae,
to
she's
let go.
understanding that she has to let go of something. So let us know. What are you willing to let go? Because that thing that you love so much, or sometimes you don't even love the chaos in your life, right? Some people can be addicted to chaos in their life, and it seems like they love it because it becomes such a part of them. But you recognize that it's not serving you. You recognize that it's affecting your family, those that you love. So there are some things in your life that you really have to give up.
Definitely.
Because you're keeping them shows that you are in love with them. And I know many of you may be keeping chaos in your life, but you definitely don't want to lay in bed with chaos at night. So let's sacrifice some things.
Let's celebrate, Karen, for making that step to let go of scarcity, to let go of fear, and say, hey, I'm ready to make that step. I'm ready to sacrifice.
Yes.
I'm ready to shift my relationships. I'm ready to shift my location and begin to walk to that place of writing my next international best-selling book. Let's celebrate Candace, who've made that decision to say, hey, I'm not going to allow scarcity and the lack of finances and the lack of resources and the lack of support and the lack of love. Come on, guys, because we said in this season we want to pour love into you. So you have no excuse that no one loves me. You have no excuse to say I don't have a way. You don't have any excuse to say I don't know the how, because you know the why. You know why you need to do what you need to do, but you may not know the how. Come on, somebody. But this is a space for you to discover the how. We want to celebrate Dr. Antoine for moving forward, for saying that my best year is now. I am going to be fruitful. And what about Maggie? I want you guys to celebrate Maggie.
She is in the labor ward. Her book baby is crowning right now.
I see the head. So look out for her time to celebrate for people who have took themselves out of the way, because sometimes our biggest inertia is ourselves. Our biggest, setback is ourselves. And when you take yourself out of the way, nothing can stop you. I remember an African proverb says that the enemy within, if you can conquer the enemy within, the enemy without can do you no harm. If you can conquer the enemy within, the enemy without, outside of you, can do you no harm. Don't you think the reason why you can't do what you do is outside of you? No. That's just an excuse. That's just a false premise. That's a negative conversation. That's a deception, because whatever is outside of you, you can master. Whatever is outside of you, it is sometimes temporary. Whatever is outside of you, you can maneuver. Whatever is outside of you, you can either go under, you can go above it, you can go around it, you can go through it. But there is something on the inside. If you don't conquer, you can't run from it. The more you run, it runs with you. The more you run, it runs with you. So if you are living with it and you conquer that sense of lack of discipline, you conquer that sense of discipline and that sense of commitment, you're unstoppable.
Yes.
You are unstoppable.
So I'm excited. Thank you so much.
Come on, say I'm unstoppable.
Say that you're unstoppable.
I am unstoppable. Come on, right? Come on, guys.
Yes, they're hearting it up. They're loving it. Yes,
come on,
juicy stuff. We try to over deliver, and today we're having a conversation about your dreams, and they can only grow if you do. So we're talking about some points, just a couple of ones that we just spoke about, was the power of self-discipline.
Yes.
What are you willing to give up in order to get what you desire? What are you willing to sacrifice?
Yes.
So we heard some great things. Aja said that she's willing to give up sleep. We heard others say that they're willing to give up the scarcity mindset. We heard even more people saying they're ready to give up the chaos that has become their lifestyle. So we appreciate you guys, and we love you, and we want to make sure that you get the most out of this conversation. So share with us what your breakthrough moments are.
Keep sharing, guys.
Yes, what things are really speaking to you. As we move on to our second point that speaks about
the importance of accountability, because accountability creates possibility. Aja, I want to shout you out, because you went onto the community on Speak and Write Orlando, and you said, hey, I need support. That's all you said. You said, hey, I need support.
Wow.
You lifted up your hands, you raised your hand, and you said, I need support. That's important, because in your journey of being accountable, in your journey of what can we say, achieving your next level, you have to admit to yourself that who I am, what I have, what I desire, there are some gaps. And by me leveraging the expertise of others, they are the bridge builders. Whew, I'm on fire today. Accountability is the process of closing the gaps in your life. Accountability is the process of locking arms with someone and saying, I not only submit to your expertise, but I also confess that I need help. And saying that you need help does not make you less than.
No.
Saying that you need help does not make you insignificant. In fact, it makes you wiser. I want to talk to my brothers out there. You know, the Bible says that he who finds a wife finds a good thing. But hear this part, and obtains favor from the Lord. In another illustration, it says that the glory of the man is the woman. What takes me to my next best self is the partnership and the mutual submission one to another. It is bridging the gaps because, guys, we have gaps. As much as we feel we are life's greatest blessings, as much as we want to feel that we are life's greatest heroes, as much as we want to feel that we know everything and we can fix everything, any great giant must admit that each giant needs a pillow.
Come on.
Come on, somebody. Every great giant needs a pillow. And likewise, whatever that's on the inside of you, for it to go to the next level, it requires the integrity of a conversation to say, I need accountability.
Yes.
And actually, you said that I need accountability. That's the doorway to your next best self.
That's the doorway to your possibilities.
That's the doorway to your greatest self.
That is the doorway to the best version of your life.
That's the doorway to see things you have never seen before and to do things you have never done before. And when you walk in that place of accountability, it brings out, it discovers, it's like you submitting yourself to a gym, to a coach, a personal fitness coach. And in that process of doing exercises, my wife, she has a personal coach. They come here and they do training.
Shout out to April.
Yeah, April in the house.
And I just woke up, so that's why my thing is jacked up right now.
But when you have that coach, sometimes you could work out on your own, and you might break a sweat. You may feel like, hey, I did something great. But then when you have that personal coach, what happens? You begin to realize that you're playing all along, all right? Because they begin to take you through the rigors. They begin to take you through a regimen. They begin to take you through a system because they know the areas that you need to bridge. And then when you begin to do that workout, you begin to feel some pains in some areas you didn't even know existed. You begin to feel some pains in some areas you didn't even know there were muscles. Come on.
Perfect example. This morning I'm doing, I don't know what they're called, but leg lifts, right? And I'm like, ow, that hurts. I got a pain. My coach
and you think something's wrong, right?
Yeah, I thought something wrong. I thought I really had to stop that, right? And my coach said, Chantel, are you sure it's a pain or is it an ache? And I said, well, I don't know the difference. What's the difference between an ache and a pain? And she told me that a pain is something that you need to rest and stop. But an ache is something that you can push through. So I looked at her and I said, okay, let me give it one more shot and see if it's a pain or an ache. Turns out, guys, it was an ache. So as much as it hurt, I kept doing my leg lifts and I made it to the other side.
Right, so, and that's the type of accountability you want. We tell clients, they come on board, they're writing the book, and we say in the first clarity call when we're doing the format for their book, we say, listen, you're excited, you're thrilled, but I want to remind you, you're about to birth something that you've been carrying for a long, long time.
Come on.
And when we begin to midwife you and we begin to pull the stories out and we begin to get some clarity on your mission and your journey, you're going to feel some discomfort. And I don't want you to confuse discomfort as displacement. I don't want you to confuse discomfort as I'm in the wrong place. I'm in the wrong program. I think I started too soon. Sometimes you need to push through the discomfort to open a whole new level. It's like doing push-ups. You're able to do 5 push-ups and then there's discomfort. If you stop, you could go a 6th one and a 7th. And then when you push that level, what you do, what you're sending a message to your muscle, it is time to grow. Come on, guys, we are talking about growth process. It is time to grow. You are building capacity in that muscle. So wherever you stop, That's where your possibility ends. I say wherever you stop, that's where your possibility ends. So that means every ceiling that's over your life, every ceiling over your life, every area that you have stopped, every place that you have paused, it's an artificial ceiling. I say it's an artificial ceiling. Let's say you say, every time I push forward in my business, I'm hitting this cap of 5,000. And you say, well, that's the capacity I have. You need someone to be, you need to be accountable to somebody who's going to say, do another push-up.
Yes.
Do another rep. There's something that is blocking you from going to that next level. And if you think your capacity is 5 push-ups, maybe you got another thing coming. If you think that your cap is just thinking about your story and never writing it, you come into this place where we work with you, midwife, you pull that message out, get you past your unlimited belief, your blockage. You get to realize I have volumes on the inside of me. You get to realize that I have series on the inside of me. You get to discover that your book can be turned into a digital course. Your digital course can be turned into a retreat. Your retreat can be turned into a mastermind. Your mastermind can be turned into a conference. Your message turns in from a message to a movement. Your book turns from a book into a business. Your story matters. You matter. Your life's quest matters. So I want you to understand accountability allows you to discover these layers and levels. And as our coach Lisa always says, the lasagna. You get to discover that there are levels in your life. You get to discover there are intricacies in your life that are yet to be discovered. That's why we submit ourselves to a coach.
That's right.
That's why as business owners, despite whatever level of success, we ensure that we are never comfortable because we want that coach to say, keep pushing.
Yes.
Keep pushing. I remember we were just, serving in the room, and while serving, picking up tissues and picking up cups and just serving, Lisa would call me to say, are you listening? Are you listening? Don't think you're just in the room just to serve. Take some notes. And I'm like, man, she's coaching me and I'm just trying to pick the tissue up. Because sometimes that happens in our lives. We're so busy picking up the crumbs. We're so busy being busy that we never get the opportunity to be coached into our next best self. And we move from serving to being students, and from being students to servants, and being servants to students, and playing that role, constantly moving in that great environment. I encourage you, you need to be accountable. You need to submit yourself to some form of accountability if you want to see fruitfulness in your life. Your dreams can only grow if you do. And the key area is accountability creates possibility.
That's why we're so committed here at the Legacy Project and with the Bestsellers Academy to ensure that our authors, those who come to us and those who come to us for their relaunching of an old book, they actually receive that accountability. They receive the 3 coaching calls built into the 30 to 90 day process of writing their best-selling book. But not just that. They also receive strategic plans so that when they do publish their book with us, and it does become an international bestseller,
and we guarantee that,
that they're able to have a jumping off point to their business. They're able to know that their business can grow. They're able to know that their book is not just some nice decoration to put on the shelf, that their book will create that momentum. And so that's what our commitment to you all is that at the Bestsellers Academy, we are going to ensure that you are held accountable. It always won't feel good. It may not always be easy, but trust me, in the end, you'll be like Muhammad Ali, who said that he hated every single day of training. But he told himself, don't quit. Suffer now.
Come on now.
And live the rest of your life as a champion.
Ooh, suffer now. Feel the pain now. Feel the pain now. You have the ability to control how long you suffer.
Oh.
You have the ability to control how long you live in scarcity.
Oh my.
You have the ability to say, do I want to remain in this inertia for a lifetime? Or should I take the wise option? Should I take the smarter option?
The shorter
Should
option.
I take the shorter option and say, let me suffer now so that I can live my life as a champion. That's why we are called the Legacy Project. We don't want you to leave a legacy. We want you to live a legacy. And the Bestsellers Academy is that environment to have accountability, to have coaching. We take you from point A to point B, from blank page
to published book
as an international bestseller. We take you from idea to concept to the process to launching. We ease you of that pain of constantly walking around pregnant with this message. You know you've been pregnant for 5 years, 10 years. Some of you, you're now feeling a bump on the inside. Many of you, you know you're about to pop and you need a safe place. You need an environment where it is worry-free. Come on, all the mothers out there. You remember when you had your first child, the last thing you want to be concerned about is insurance. The last thing you want to be concerned about is the competency of the doctor. The last thing you want to be concerned about is the cleanliness of the room. The last thing you want to be concerned about is am I going to be safe? In that place of bringing forth your message, you have the assurance that as your coaches, we are not just there for the show, but we are there for your breakthrough. We are your midwives. We are your champions. We are not just leaders in the work, but we are also students in the work.
Yes.
Come on, that's important, because any doctor, to maintain their certification, they have to be a student of their work. They are constantly going through a process of recertification. It's not I passed the exam 15 years ago and I'm qualified. No, trust me, you talk to anyone in the medical profession, they go through a series of what is called recertification, because you have to stay current to what's happening. You have to stay current to the trends. You have to stay current to what's the next step. Like, for instance, someone asked me the question, does your company provide placement in bookstores? Because there's this person that provides that and there's that person that provides that. And I said to them, I said, gone are the days where you pride yourself in product placement. Now it's all about how do you create a strategic book launch, and as Lisa said, and create a hurricane where you've just sold, where you've just spoken into multiple areas, and then you create what is called product placement in those what we'll call in those bookstores. Because you can have your books in a bookstore, but most people get access to their material digitally. Most people get access to products online.
That's right.
So gone are the days where people are trying to say, oh, I can get you in this bookstore, that bookstore. You first need to be discovered for someone to go to a shelf. And based on your demographic and based on the psychographic of your crowd and the people you're called to serve, some of them never will ever visit a bookstore.
So true.
So it's important to understand some of the modern trends, and you see if you can get us back up. That's all right, love. Some of the modern trends, you know how technology works sometimes. So it's important to remain current.
And I want you to leave them with this scripture for that point about accountability creates possibility.
It says in Ecclesiastes 4:9-10, Ecclesiastes 4:9-10, it says, 2 are better than 1, because they have a good reward for their labor. If they fall, one will lift up his companion. But woe to him who is alone, because when he falls, for he has no one to help him up. It's time to stop doing it alone. It's time to stop being that lone ranger, because you need someone to midwife you through the process and to bring clarity to your mission. At this time, we want to just close by talking about that final point. That as you move towards putting pen to paper, we want to welcome you as you're back with us, our ATM tribe. As you move towards putting pen to paper, if you are to move to that place of fruitfulness in this series, Be Fruitful. And the key points in order to be fruitful is that you must know that your dreams can only grow if you do. And one of the key aspects of seeing your dreams grow, Aja, is that you must be in a place to know that as you begin to marshal your energy, marshal your commitment and your focus, marshal your strength It will not happen without resistance. There will be some level of resistance that you'll experience in your life. But Sharonda, as you experience that resistance, the greatest antidote to despair is momentum. The greatest antidote to despair is momentum. So we charge you, when you think about moving forward, some of the things that you are coming up against and some of the things that are lasting so long in your life is because, or it is a symptom of simply being stuck.
Wow.
Let me give you the example. I don't know if you want to share anything before I give the example.
I'm just in love with this series. I don't know.
Let me give you this example. When you think of a car, you can have a vehicle that is 50 tons, 100 tons, a truck, a van. And if that big vehicle that is of great weight and great tonnage is driving at 180 miles per hour and they meet a speed bump in the road, what do you think is going to happen? You know what's going to happen? You're going to see them do so, boom, 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 and they keep moving. Why? Because there's momentum. There's momentum. Now, many of you have experienced some speed bumps in your road. However, the experience, boom, boom, hasn't been like that. For some of you, when you face a problem in your life, uncertainty in your life, when you face trials in your life, you are like that vehicle that's traveling at 5 miles per hour.
Come on, because it's...
And you meet that speed bump.
Come on.
You know what's going to happen? You're going to be like this. You roll, speed bump, and then you roll back. Because there's no momentum. The same vehicle that is of tonnage, the same vehicle that is of a great weight can be stopped by a little tiny speed bump.
Wow.
Why? Because there's no momentum.
Come on.
John Maxwell, a powerful leadership coach, he says that when there is momentum in your life, problems, number one, you are not stopped by problems. And number two, problems always self-correct itself.
Ooh.
If you're experiencing constant conflict in your workplace,
constant bacchanal, like they say in Trinidad,
there's no momentum. If you're experiencing constant breakdown in your life, there is no momentum. But if you are in massive action, if you are staying in massive action, if you are staying in massive momentum, things will self-correct itself. Because as you're driving at 180 miles per hour and you meet a speed bump in your life, which you will meet speed bumps in your life. You will meet the speed bump of a bill due. You will meet the speed bump of a medical report. You will meet the speed bump of a spousal conflict. You will meet the speed bump of tiredness and weariness. You will meet unexpected things in your life, especially if you're driving in a place that you're unfamiliar with. Take for instance, you're driving in a...
Yes, facts. I am understanding this. Yes. Listen, it's speaking to me as well, so continue.
Yeah, so let's say you're driving in a place you're unfamiliar with and it's not lit well. What happens? You may be driving really fast and you didn't see the speed bump. What's going to happen? And you keep moving. And as you go to that place where you've decided to craft your story and you begin to unearth some unfamiliar places, even in the lack of your familiarity, you still have the ability to keep moving forward. So I encourage you today that as you make that decision, as you understand that your dreams can only grow if you do, we want you to see the importance of discipline. Because discipline is a tool that will take you into the direction of your destiny. Discipline is a tool that will take you into the direction of your destiny. Discipline is the tool that will take you in the direction of your destiny. As you make a commitment to be fruitful, to craft your story, to move your story from an idea to a powerful identity. As you make that decision to raise your hand in your marketplace, because it is your story that will bring you to the unique service proposition. Your story is what's going to set you apart from every other coach.
That's right.
From every other
speaker, from every other trainer, from every other person who's in your marketplace. Your story is your unique service proposition. And so we encourage you to shake off some of those things that have been holding you back. Shake off some of those things that have allowed you to stay complacent in where you are.
Shake off those things, Aja, that is wanting to stop your momentum. And make a decision to get started. Even though you may not know the how, the why will always take you to your next place. Shake off those things that are pushing up against you. And know that as you take command of your next best self, know that as you go to that next place of taking massive decisions, you become unstoppable.
You're unstoppable, Regina. We encourage you to go ahead and make sure that you do what Regina did and lock arms with someone who could allow you to grow to your next level. It may not be us, but we encourage you to do it with someone, because your dreams will only grow to the level that you grow.
Take that challenge like many have before. Take that challenge that many have faced before, and many would have walked away, but few decided, because the road of greatness sometimes is traveled by few. But even as you recognize that few might be on that road, we encourage you to be one of those few. Be one of those few that makes a decision to say, like Maurice, that I am that man who is going to bring clarity to my message unashamedly. Be like that person who have decided that my story is not mine, but it belongs to humanity.
Yes. Frederick, be like that person, like Julia, who said that she is going to write her book no matter what. Be like so many others who have decided not to stand in their story, but to stand on their story and be a blessing to people all around the world.
So at this point, we charge you to take action. Take action in the link below you would see in the description. Book that clarity call, because someone who has great clarity is a dangerous person. Someone who has great clarity is an unstoppable person. Someone who has great clarity is a powerful person.
Katia, you are powerful, and we believe in you. And that's what we're here for. We're here to believe in you when sometimes you can't believe in yourself. That's our commitment to you as the leaders and coaches of the Bestsellers Academy. And remember,
we love you.
And there is nothing you can do about it.
Take care, guys. We appreciate you.